Henri Coudorn was a French writer, journalist and pacifist, writing under the pseudonym of Victor Méric. Born in 1876 at Marseille, the son of French senator and politician Victor Sylvain Méric. He served in the army between 1895 and 1898, moving to Paris in 1899, where he got involved in anarchist circles, and in 1904 he co-founded the Association Internationale Antimilitariste. Then from 1906 he contributed to the socialist La Guerre Sociale newspaper, owned by noted pacifist socialist Gustave Hervé. The following year, Méric co-created the illustrated periodical Les Hommes de Jour with Henri Fabre. Méric's anti-militaristic articles for the journal landing him in prison twice for insulting the army, first for a year in 1908 and then for 6 weeks in 1909, with Gustave Hervé being one of his co-prisoners. At the outbreak of World War I, Méric was sent to the front as a sapper. A year after the war, he joined the Communists, being a member of the leadership of the French Communist Party from 1920 to 1922, but he was expelled from the party in 1923 due to his pacifism. In consequence, he founded his own communist party, the Socialist Communist Union, and in 1931 he also founded the International League of Fighters for Peace. He died of cancer in 1933 at Paris. His The Crime of the Old came out in 1927. It is a sci-fi novel, written as the memoirs and confessions of a certain Doucet. Writing in 2070 as a 165-year-old young man, he describes a futuristic, scientific dictatorship ruled by a committee of old men who continuously renew their youth by taking their own children, castrating and lobotomizing them, and surgically implanting their glands to renew themselves. At the beginning of the novel, Doucet is already planning to sacrifice his eldest son Simon to regain his full youth, but just then Simon disappears. In going over his life while he and many of the elders look for their missing children, whom they conceived solely to use for their own renewal, Doucet reflects on his past. In the 1930s he was a journalist, and was witness to a series of fantastic robberies where the biggest banks were hit and robbed, with all the guards asleep and massive holes cut through walls and steel doors alike. Then suddenly vicars start being mysteriously abducted, only to be returned, spayed and basically lobotomized. Doucet thinks some scientific madman is behind both incidents and denounces him in print. His lover Julia keeps nudging him along to reveal the truth, only to lead him to this same scientist, her adoptive uncle, as a prisoner. Doucet in his articles nicknamed the old man Ugolin, after Ugolino della Gherardesca, the Count of Donoratico, who was left to starve to death with his sons and grandsons in the Muda Tower in Pisa on the orders of Ruggieri degli Ubaldini, Archbishop of Pisa, and who was depicted in Dante's Divine Comedy to have eaten the dead bodies of his children in order to prolong his life. Ugolin, actually named Professor Huller, intends to seize control of the world and have it be governed by a council of old men, renewed in the manner described. He succeeds in toppling the government of France, as well as the dictatorial commune that takes control of Paris, and installs a scientific regime of eugenics. Humans are deprived of imagination, huge sections of the population are kept uneducated and are kept as slaves for the worst manual labor, and women are refused renewal and in fact are all killed once they cease to be attractive, their only purpose being to be an object of desire by Ugolin's degree. Back in the present of 2070, just as the child disappearances begin, Ugolin falls in a faint and can no longer use his legs. The remaining scientists fight for his position in the inner circle as he continues to deteriorate. Eventually it transpires that Judith, Doucet's newest wife, has learned about the secret of renewal, kept hidden from the world, and conspires to hide away her son with Ugolin's help. The old man realizing he can't extend human life indefinitely as he goes blind. An armed revolution of the young topples the regime, but then Méric truly irritates me and no mistake. After a satisfactory ending, the novel ends with a 2-page postscript that reveals the entire thing to have been a dream, undoing some 240 pages in one fell swoop. The book is at least interesting in the grim future it builds up, but one would do better to simply cut out the last 2 pages.